Oh, hi. Hello. How you doing? My name is Waldo, and I'm here to feel the politics with you. How's everybody doing today? I am doing great. Thank you. Today is Wednesday, so I've got a handful of links and stories to talk about today. A lot going on today. Um, as usual, I have the family Bulbasaur back here, backing me up. It's not been too warm for them. They've been a little cold recently, but that's okay. I like it. I really do hate summer, and I don't want it to be warm. It's bad. Heat just makes you sweat. It's a bad time. Nobody likes it. So I'm glad I live where it's a steamy 64 degrees right now in the middle of June. And that's the way I like it. Hi. Welcome. Thanks for coming. Tell me what you're thinking. Tell me what you're feeling. Hop in the chat. If you're in Twitch chat, the lovely robot lady will read your stuff out loud. Robot. Unless you put a hashtag in it, in which you won't. If you don't want to interrupt me, if you don't want to wreck my chain of thought, but if you do, go for it. I can always turn it off whenever I damn well feel like it. So, if you're in YouTube chat, tell me what you're thinking. I'm looking at it, and it will appear on the screen. It just won't read it out loud because YouTube doesn't like you. I'm sorry. I do. I like you. I'm glad you're here. But YouTube, they could take you or leave you. It's very rude, but that's the way they feel. Anywho, what the damn hell's going on today? Today, there's a lot going on. Yeah. I got all kinds of links. Look at all these links. Look at all these damn links. Look at these damn things. Let's look at the first one. Where is it? There it is. This connects back to my last video, the one I put out on my YouTube page. If you hadn't seen it, you should go there and watch it. It's very good. Anyway, this is another person who refuses to answer a very simple question because answering it truthfully, answering it honestly, will get him in trouble. And answering it dishonestly is a crime because he's sworn under oath right now. So he's not allowed to lie. And he's not allowed to tell the truth. So we see the fumbling and the silliness and the ridiculousness. Let's watch.
Who won the 2020 election, Judge Traynor?
Senator, this issue has become a question of political controversy.
It's not the fact that you won't answer is the controversy. Honorable Daniel Mac Traynor. I want to take that honorable right off of his name. Honestly, if I were there, I would walk down there and I would tear the HON right off the front of that nameplate because he's not honorable. He won't answer because he's trying to tell you a lie. When he's outside of the hearings, when he's not under oath, he will lie to you.
Sitting federal district judge. I'm a nominee to the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals. And Justice Jackson, who previously was confirmed by the Senate for a position
well,
on the...
If I may interrupt you, Judge, because my time is limited. It's political controversy only because the president refuses to accept the results of the 2020 election. I'm asking you, as a matter of fact, who won the 2020 election?
Well, Senator, as Justice Jackson stated in her responses to questions in the record, it is not appropriate to engage in discussion regarding that as a...
Not appropriate to just tell us who the president was. That's a political scheme, asking a person who wants to be a judge who won the presidential election in 2020. You can look it up. Give him 60 seconds to Google it and let him find out and then let him say it. If he doesn't know, that's a problem. You're an idiot and you shouldn't be in charge of anything and you shouldn't be a judge. If you're refusing to answer it because you'll get in trouble, I can't trust you. I can't trust the Honorable Daniel Mac Traynor. Daniel Mac Traynor, I don't know who you are, but I don't trust you. I doubt your judgment. I doubt anything you tell me from now on because you won't answer the simple question.
The judge.
So you're going to use the same script that other nominees have used before this panel to avoid the question?
Senator, I think the precedent established by Justice Jackson and other nominees is something that I need to follow.
As a matter of
judicial.
fact, who got more votes in 2020? Which of the presidential candidates?
Senator, as I stated before, this is an issue that Justice Jackson and other nominees have been asked. They've not provided a response
Because they're crooked, like you are. You are crooked, you lying sack of shit. You weaselly little turd.
You understand why I'm asking you to state as a simple matter of fact.
He does not understand. Mr. Blumenthal, he does not understand. And he does understand at the same time.
Who got more votes? The reason is that the president seeks to perpetuate a lie. You are, in effect, protecting the lie if you fail to take an independent position as a matter of simple fact. Everybody in this room knows the answer. You're unwilling to state it, instead adopting a script that's been dictated to you by the White House. You prepared this answer with the White House, did you not?
Senator, I prepared the answer based upon the response provided by Justice Jackson.
You
questions
consulted
to the record.
with the White House before you invoked Justice Jackson. That's the script, as you well know, that nominees sitting where you are right now have used again and again and again. Let me ask you,
He cannot be trusted. I love this question. I love the fact that Blumenthal is asking it. He needs to be asking it. Every single person that comes before the House and the Senate and to be confirmed, anybody applying for any kind of government job needs to be asked this question. We cannot function as a democracy if the honorable among us are lying. We cannot be a functional country if the honorable judges don't accept reality. If they keep dodging this question, if they keep whining and crying and trying to avoid it, it only proves their ideology. It proves that they are an unreasonable, illegitimate ideology. And they should not be in charge of anything. They should not be allowed to be a judge if you can't answer that simple question. It proves that you are untrustworthy. And that's what my last video was about. So go there and watch that on the YouTube. It's a good time. It just popped up on Monday. So that is fun. And I'm glad that it keeps happening. I want to see it every time. Every time somebody's in charge, I want to see this. So let's see. What else do we have to talk about tonight? What do we got to talk about? We've got Graham Platner. Oh, baby. Graham Platner, he kind of has that Alex Jones voice, you know. He's got that really deep voice. We'll listen to him here in just a minute. But he has won the primary, and he's going to go against the sitting Republican, who's very unpopular and kisses Trump's ass on a regular basis. The old lady, what's her name? I forget what her name is. Regardless, I should know her name, and it'll pop up in a minute. But this is Donnie pissing and moaning about him, as usual. The whiny little bitch that Trump is going to whine a little bit.
If anybody, I watched that thug that's up in Maine, he's a thug. And they're trying to make excuses for him. I mean, he's worse than any human being that's ever run for office, probably.
Worse than any human being that's ever run for office. Boss, Donnie, the man on the screen paid a porn star to fuck him when his wife was at home with a newborn. Graham Platner didn't do that. You did that, Donnie. You paid a hooker. You were best friends with Epstein, not Graham Platner. You are the worst human being to ever run for office. You scammed people out of their money for decades. You owned and operated a crooked-ass casino. You dodge taxes like it's a fucking bullet. And he has the fucking gall to call Graham Platner the worst person. He doesn't even mention what the not the conspiracy, but the controversies are. He just says he's the worst because everything's the worst and everything's the most and everything's the best and everything's the greatest and everything's the most and everything's the worst. He doesn't have a mid bone in his body, Donnie. Everything in extreme. Moderation is for monks. And he doesn't even mention them. Let's see.
I don't know him. I don't want to say bad, but I just look. I mean, nobody's ever had a record like that. And you'll have Schumer. He goes crazy over this or that, or Epstein.
The prolific, world's most notorious child trafficker, sex trafficker, blackmailer, hundreds of crimes, hundreds of women harmed. And he was your best friend. Donnie, yeah, that's why they make a big deal about it, Donald. You were his best friend. He was your bestie. You two did all kinds of nefarious, dangerous, illegal things together. That's why it's a big deal.
This guy, why are they talking about him? He said, well, we don't know, but this guy's got a rap sheet. I've never seen anything like it. He's a thug.
A rap sheet that suggests being arrested. Literally incorrect. I mean, that's a factual thing. A rap sheet is a factual document, boss. And you just insinuated that he had one. He might even be able to sue you for libel. I don't know.
I know thugs. I had to deal with thugs. I built a lot of buildings. I dealt with the toughest people on earth.
So, as usual, insanity, nonsense. He's the actual problem, but he blames everybody else. So what else is going on with, damnation. I hit the X. Hell in a damn. Hi. My name is Waldo, and I suck at the internet. I wanted to look at the next little link, but I clicked the X because I have so many tabs on my screen, and I suck at everything, and I'm dumb and bad, and now I have to go back and find it. Okay, I know which one it was that I wanted to look at, so I'm going to have to go and find it. Give me a sec. I'm sorry. I suck at everything. I'm so bad at everything. I should be fired. This is the hardest job in the world. Go easy on me. Okay, here we go. All right. They're so tiny, and my hands are so big. All right. I got it. Not too hard. Let's put it back up on the screen. Thank you, Editor Waldo. Cut all that out. So let's hear what Mr. Graham Platner has to say.
I was single for the majority of my adult life. I was in my 20s and 30s, and I dated. And, that's in the modern age, that's what happens. You date people, and you use dating apps, and you do all this stuff. And frankly, that all happened long before I got married, and happened long before I decided to run for the United States Senate. I can just tell you, there is nothing out there that is going to will run counter to any of the stories that I've talked about openly this entire campaign. And I know everyone continues to be like, oh, what else is coming? Ironically,
right.
The whole what else is coming has essentially been the same thing the whole time, which is I've been very open about the fact that I struggled, very open about the fact I had a long litany of failed relationships for years because I myself was not in a good place. And then every now and again, we will have a media outlet or a politically motivated attack come up and try to drag it all up. But it's all very much within the exact same story that I've told this entire time.
Okay, so you say there's nothing out there that could be concerning. And this may seem a little bit rich.
There's nothing out there. I just want to make this clear. There's nothing out there that's actually concerning. People will make everything seem very concerning because that's what people do in politics. But, I think the thing about all of this is what I find to be kind of most curious is this is what everyone wants to make the campaign about. So we do not talk about the struggles of working Mainers. We do not talk about the fact that I know someone in my hometown here who works 3 jobs and pays over 60% of her monthly income in rent. I think that matters a lot more than the details of my relationship before I ran for United States Senate. That's just me.
Okay, so then let me ask you this way. Can you just talk about the nature of the sexting in terms of, can you call for the release of the Epstein files? And can you call out those who have abused women and not be conflicted in any way?
She doesn't know what sexting is. She doesn't know. She has no idea. She doesn't know what it means. She thinks it's some sort of torture device or something. It's a thing that you do to attack people, I suppose. She doesn't know what the word means. She doesn't know what it means. She has no idea. That's Mika Brzezinski. She was born to be a TV reporter, I think. I don't know that she's ever had, human interaction. I don't know. She was also very, very upset. I don't know, this is severely off topic. But many years ago, when during the, what was it called? The Fappening. Remember when what's her name? J-Law had all them photos leaked? I remember watching her, this lady, this Mika Brzezinski, just absolutely break the fuck down about why she would do that. Why would a gorgeous 20-year-old have naked pictures of herself on her phone? And I was like, girl, Mika, what? Every 20-year-old has naked pictures of themselves on their phone. All of them. All of them. Every single goddamn one. She is out of touch with normal human beings, Mika Brzezinski. So she asks, and the reason I tell that story is because she is out of touch. And so she asks, given your sexting, can you call for the release of the Epstein files? Mika, those are two different things, right? You know, the Epstein files weren't a sexting controversy. There's a little bit of a difference, a little bit of a, what's the word? An order of magnitude. There are 4 orders of magnitude greater with the Epstein files than consensually sexting with someone. Like, the Epstein files, all the stuff there wasn't to consent, and if it was hookers who were trying to get money and trying to land a rich presidential husband, like Melania did. There's a huge difference between those two things. But she doesn't know what they are, and she's not sure that anybody who's ever done a bad thing, and she does definitely think sexting is a bad thing. That is a crime against nature. It's a crime against God. It ought to be illegal. And Graham Platner is lucky he's not swinging from the end of a rope because of Mika Brzezinski equating the two things. Those are equal and those are the same in her mind. Trafficking women and young girls is equal in Mika Brzezinski's eyes with this framing that she's doing here as willingly and participating in sexting with a consenting adult. Don't put those two things in the same sentence, Mika. This is framing. This is why framing is so damn important. And you, Mika, are doing the framing badly. You're doing right-wing framing as fucking usual. The right wing gets to frame and decide every talking point. They get to decide what we talk about because they don't check their facts first. They just say some shit. They say whatever they want it to be true. They just spout off immediately. There was a school shooting today. It must be a trans person. It must be a lefty, woke-haired blue person who's transitioning. And then they wrote anti-ice on the bullets. Must be. Well, the victims are still bleeding out on the concrete. And the right will tell you that. And then we have to go and correct it. They're setting the framework. If they're wrong, they don't care. They move on to something else. And then when you prove them wrong, they're like, what are you talking about? That was yesterday. Who gives a shit? We're talking about today's madness and insanity. And they frame everything themselves. They set the frame every time. Mika, you got to be better than that. You got to beat them at this game. talk about Platner's points. If you want him to win, and I would assume you do since you're left of center and you complain about the lying ass president every day. And she does use the word lying when discussing him. She does. I've seen her do it a couple of times. She says the president lies about 2020. She does. She uses the word lie on the TV, which is good. But I don't know why you do this right-wing framing. You're doing their job for them. And it's probably because she's a Democrat in the center. She's a centrist Democrat. She wants all the things that the Republicans want, but she wants it to be slightly less racist. She wants a thriving stock market that she can benefit from. She wants giant donors paying news organizations to run stories. She wants giant donors paying politicians to pass laws that benefit her, the wealthy, and the upper class. But she doesn't want gutter racism, which is what MAGA and the Republicans bring. So that's the only difference between her and a Republican. She's not racist. That's it. I've been rambling long enough. Let's hear Graham Platner's answer, which is a good answer. Let's hear it.
Yes, of course. I mean, I engaged in consensual romantic activities with adults at an earlier part in my life. That seems like a fairly normal thing most people do. Going to an island with billionaires to possibly assault children is a vastly, vastly different thing.
Yeah.
And so let's see what else we've got on him. Here we go. Platner wins and Washington wines. This is from Ken Klippenstein, the last reporter left in the world. Let's hear what he has to say. What the Maine Oysterman's primary victory means. Graham Platner decisively won the Democratic nomination to run for the U.S. Senate today, which will come as a shock to many in Washington media. They've spent the last several weeks treating his candidacy as a doom spiral to be gawked at, rather than a campaign to be covered. The clearest sign of how badly the Capitol wanted him gone wasn't any single hit piece. It was the life raft they kept throwing to Janet Mills, the 78-year-old governor, originally recruited to the Senate race by Chuck Schumer to block a fresh face from emerging, suspended her campaign back in April once the polls made it clear that Platner would beat her by a humiliating margin. Mills never formally withdrew, so her name stayed on the ballot, which gave the certain class of pundit an opening. Right up until the polls closed, they kept musing that maybe, just maybe, voters would come to their senses and reject Graham's string of controversies. The tattoo, the PTSD, the sexting, the threats. His real sin was failing to impress the elite, which in very independent Maine only helps him. And that's true. The people of Maine don't give a shit about Chuck Schumer or what he wants. They don't work for the stock market. Chuck Schumer does. Washington focused on the scandal because of the issues. It has nothing to say. We're just reporting the facts, the media tells itself. But by ignoring Platner's policy views and what Mainers actually want, it tipped its hand. Its conclusion is that the electorate can't be trusted, which is why the party keeps offering up experience and credentials, Mills, Cuomo, Biden, to keep voters from getting too uppity. When Mills dropped out, or whatever she's calling it, the coverage fixated on a Washington campaign finance story. She'd run out of money, much easier than admitting she'd run out of voters. At every turn, voters are being gaslit about Platner. MS Now's uber-liberal Chris Hayes pressed him on whether he'd sexted minors. No. An accusation for which there is zero evidence, but the insinuation lingers anyway. Why would MSNBC, which is called MS Now, I hate that name, it's so stupid, super liberal Chris Hayes? Well, because he's a liberal, not a leftist. Here's the difference. Your liberals want the Dems to win so that they can keep benefiting and keep prospering from the giant stock market. They don't want workers' unions. They don't want workers' rights. They don't want to take care of you. They don't want to pay for health care. They want a company to do that. They want a company to sell you health care with a profit that Chris Hayes can then buy stock in. Okay? The New York Times was so desperate to align itself with the party in Washington that it published allegations that it said could not be independently corroborate, something I've literally never seen them do before. So the the New York Times is even going all out to get rid of this left-leaning individual. A remarkable number of DC commentators insisted that sheer Maine foolishness was the only explanation for Platner's support at home. My favorite, the editor-in-chief of the argument, wrote an entire piece rebutting an imaginary Platner voter who supposedly thinks infidelity is good. Now comes the hard part. This is the first and most predictable move. Concede the primary, then immediately wave it away as the easy part. But before the real test is against Susan Collins come November, watch how quickly the people who told you Platner's primary victory was in peril will turn around and tell you the primary was never the hard part. 41-year-old oyster farmer and combat veteran with zero prior political experience, no prior office, no donor network, no Beltway or Rolodex, may have defeated a sitting two-term governor and the Chuck Schumer political machine. But oh, there's Susan Voldemort and she's breathing fire. And he's Ken Klippenstein is right. They will say, he's probably not going to win that because he's not good enough, because he doesn't know all the tricks and the inside. He doesn't have all the Beltway connections that the governor would have had. So you should have voted for the governor, the 78-year-old lady who works for Chuck Schumer, because she knew how to get donations. She knew who to talk to at the parties. She knows how the political machine works. Dog, that's like the opposite of what we want from these people. I don't want the insider. I don't want the person who knows all the fucking tricks of the trade. I want somebody who says left-wing things, who will vote for left-wing things. That seems to be Graham Platner right now. He was the furthest left-leaning person in that primary. He's further left than the former governor, and he's further left in the general than, what's her name? Susan Collins. So it's very easy for me to make this decision. It's very easy for me to see which direction I should pull for, which one I should cheer for. He won by less than expected, so moving the goalposts. Number 3, the real story is whether he can win in November, and that's fine. That's more of the hard part. Democrats are privately worried. Keep an eye out for the anonymous sourcing genre. The experts think, the strategists say, the operatives fear, and the one Democrat granted anonymity to speak candidly will tell you that they're worried. They're privately scared. He'll still have to answer for any of these controversies. The win doesn't retire the controversies. It just changes their job. Where the scandals were previously deployed to argue Platner would lose, they'll now be repurposed to argue that the victory leaves open so many questions. And those questions, despite the voters not caring, are another invitation to continue to speculate about how the candidate is still tainted. By creating the narrative that Platner is an embarrassment, the party and the news media gets to pick the successor before Platner's even put his feet up on the desk. And exactly, that's what Mika was doing. She was pointing at the controversies, tying them to a different controversy that has nothing to do with the first one, and aggrandizing it, making it bigger, making it scarier, making it far more important than it is. Given that you have had a speeding ticket, how can you possibly suggest that Jeffrey Epstein was a criminal? You know, you're a criminal. You have a speeding ticket. Dog, those are two different things. Those are so wildly far apart that they don't even, it's insane to connect them. Mika's being insane by connecting sexting with consensual adults and the Epstein files. It's insane. Why would she do that? Because she wants the centrist to win. Okay, so if Platner is smart, he'll ignore them, choosing instead to hate on the elite media, aligning himself with the voters back home. That makes sense. The point of the coverage described above is to erase the public from the story by pretending the voters didn't justify Washington in an extraordinary way. The first-time candidate with no political experience drove a Schumer-recruited two-term sitting senator out of the race entirely before a single vote was cast. That's the public, in their wisdom, with their perspective, rejecting the gerontocracy and the party. America doesn't have many Platners to vote for, but it clearly wants them. So this is great stuff. This is exactly what I was thinking. This is exactly what I was feeling. Well done, Ken Klippenstein. You can watch all his stuff, and you should click on his things. He is the last reporter in America. So, bam. that is it for the Graham Platner section of the show tonight. So if you're still watching, hop in the chat. Tell me what you're thinking. Tell me what you're feeling. Go on over to the YouTube page if you want to watch old videos and stuff like that. Or go on to the Discord. If you want to tell me what to talk about and make memes and stuff like that. Copy link address, pop it into here. Bam. All right. What is next? Next, war. War never changes. We are like literally bombing Iran right now, I think.
I just spoke with President Trump, who is currently in the Situation Room with Vice President J.D. Vance, along with Special Envoys Kushner and Witkoff. The president giving new insight into what is taking place as we speak. There is an ongoing bombing campaign against the Iranian regime. The president tells Fox News that 49 Tomahawk missiles were used to hit targets inside of Iran, some of them as close as 40 miles from the Iranian capital of Tehran. The president said that U.S. fighter jets are also operating over the skies of Iran, taking out radar systems and air defense systems in the southwestern part of the country, close to the Persian Gulf. This is all taking place as the Iranians are trying to get the United States to stop the bombing campaign. President Trump told me that Iran called him tonight. Top Iranian officials and President Trump spoke directly, according to the commander-in-chief tonight, as the president was sitting in the Situation Room. And he told me that the Iranians asked them to stop bombing. And the president said to me, the bombing will stop shortly. I asked him what will happen if the Iranians do not sign an agreement that was put forward by American negotiators. President Trump said, quote, we'll bomb the S out of them tomorrow night. And so the president is leaving the military option on the table if the Iranians are unwilling to sign this good faith deal that would...
Good faith deal. Fucking joke.
Ultimately open the Strait of Hormuz and ensure that they cannot advance a nuclear program toward a nuclear bomb. That is the bottom line here that President Trump has reiterated over and over again.
So we're bombing them again. This will never end. This will continue forever. It can't succeed. It's insane. Donald Trump is not smart enough to run a war. He doesn't know what the word diplomacy means. He doesn't know what a deal is. A deal. He talks about getting the deals. When he talks about deals, he means extortion. Pay us to leave you alone. Iran needs to give us all their money and all their oil and let us drive our boats up and down the strait all the time we want, anytime we want, and any of their oil they give us to us for free, or else we will kill them. That's what Donald wants, is his deals. It's just extortion. Sure is a nice country you got there. Would be a shame if something would have happened to it. So he just hurts the people until they give him what he wants, or give him enough to make him go hurt someone else. That is his style. It's all he's ever done. That's what the tariffs were. If you bribed him, if you kissed his ass, if you came there and you said, hey, we're going to make a deal, and then you stood next to him and said nice things about him in the newspaper, he cut your tariffs. That's it. That's all. If you pay him, he will pardon you from your crimes. That's how it works. If you break the law in his name to help him, he'll pardon you. That's it. Because you do him a favor. That's all he thinks politics is. He doesn't actually care about policy or the law or international order or holding criminals accountable. He doesn't give a shit about any of that. No. How does it benefit him? How does he get paid? What is he getting out of this? That is all he's ever cared about. That's all that ever matters to him. So what is he getting from Iran right now? Nothing. Because they don't want to give him stuff. They don't want to give him a bunch of free oil. They don't want to give him unfettered access to their waterways. So he bombs them. He doesn't understand what to do, how to make an actual diplomatic solution. He doesn't know what a diplomatic solution is. The JCPOA that Obama put together, the Iran peace deal back in 2015, was a diplomatic solution. Our country worked with their country to come to an actual agreement. And it took years. It took long, long time. It took a long time because actual diplomacy isn't something that you write down 10 fucking things on a bullet point, 1-page thing and then send over to them. It's long drawn out meetings. It's point after point. It's arguing a contract, a 200-page, 300-page, 400-page contract. It's not just 10 fucking bullet points. Donnie went to ChatGPT and said, I need a deal with Iran to stop this war. And then it gave him 10 little bullet points, and then he copy pasted it. And that's the diplomacy that we get. That's what we get. That's all we get. Let's keep reading about this. What do we got? We've got, this is a few of my favorite Fox News dummies recognizing, this was from yesterday, or before we started bombing today, saying that they don't get it and it doesn't make any sense.
And he keeps saying we're very close, we're days away, and I don't know what that means. We've heard that for a very long time.
Right, we're days away because he doesn't actually know what he's doing. He's a moron. He's surrounded by morons. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're saying. They don't know how to do diplomacy. They only know how to talk shit.
I mean, oil has gone down. It was closed at, I think, 89 today, but gas prices are very high. And there's a lot of people in the administration, I think, that would like to see the job finish, and others think that...
The job finished. They don't even know what that means. Jesse Waters is too dumb to comprehend the 700-page diplomacy document. Okay? The job has to be finished. Empty head horseshit. He doesn't know what Iran wants. He doesn't know what America wants. He doesn't know what peace looks like. He doesn't know anything. He just talks shit into a camera.
You know, we're pretty close, but what do we know?
One thing that a lot of Americans can't really wrap their heads around here is we keep hearing that they've been destroyed, decimated. The word is often used ungrammatically, but nevertheless.
She knows what decimated means. It's, you kill every 10th man.
And yet
it's not 1 in 10.
Yeah, thank you.
Trump's negotiators get close to at least a framework that can reopen the straits and move on to a broader negotiation about nuclear material and everything else. And then what happens? Well, the hawks immediately jump in and say, you're going to be Obama.
I think this guy has a real point. This guy's got a really good point. Every time they do diplomacy and they actually get somebody like Pakistan to be in the middle to do the help with the talks, it starts to look like the JCPOA from 2015. It starts to look like the Obama deal. And then he freaks out, or people freak him out on purpose. See, Obama did smart diplomacy, which means Johnny's not allowed to do that. He's not allowed. He's just not allowed. If Obama did it, he won't. If Obama did smart things, I'll only do dumb things. If Obama did diplomacy, I'll only do war. If Obama stopped drugs, I'll start drugs. It's a level of just willful contrarianism. Contrarianism is what it is. If Obama says up, I must say down. If Obama says left, I must say right. If Obama says don't eat yellow snow, Donald Trump would be out there eating piss snow. He would. This literally happened to Ron DeSantis, the lovely woman who is the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis. Obama said, oh no, these food preparation places are using pink slime, which is ground up wasted little bits of meat to create very low quality food. And he said, it's bad for you. And it's filled with chemicals. And it's just mostly just like the worst bits. You ever hear the old saying about how many how hot dogs are actually made out of like lips and assholes and all that stuff? It's that kind of stuff. And then Ron DeSantis ran to one of these facilities and had a big old press conference where he ate the pink slime and he talked about how delicious the food was. Dog, if you're going against Obama, go against him. Make a different argument. Say that it wasn't good enough. Say that you can do a better job, but don't just say the opposite. And don't run from the idea that your diplomacy looks like his diplomacy, because they're both fucking diplomacy, you absolute cretins. You disgusting sacks of shit. Destroyed the JCPOA, which was good and working and making Iran into our ally. We could have an ally in that part of the world. But they threw it away because they were afraid of anything with his name on it. Anything Obama did must be destroyed, and we must do it again, rebuild it worse. If Obama built a library, we're going to tear it down and build a fucking casino. You know? It's something worse, and it's going to fall apart and it's not going to work, and then the plumbing's going to be bad, and then it's not going to pass inspection, all that fun stuff. So if Obama did it, we must hate it and do a worse job.
This is worse than Obama, and they know, because they know how to play Trump, that once you invoke the Obama card and you say this is worse than the Obama deal, those are the magic words that gets Trump to back off. And that's what happens. And I think that's a big part of the reason why, along with the Iranian recalcitrance, there hasn't even been a framework to reopen the straits, because Trump does not want to be called Obama. And the right wing in America knows they say Obama, that gets Trump to back off. So I think that's why there's no deal. We're not close to a deal as we enter mid-June here. Politically, if you don't get to any kind of a deal and the straits stay close, it's very straightforward. Gas prices are going to keep going up, and that's going to increase Trump's political burden and the burden he puts on his candidates this fall.
Okay, what else we got? We've got Newsmax. Let's listen to some Newsmax. Oh yeah, Newsmax.
What do you say to the Americans out there? They're sick and tired of this war. They voted for President Trump because he promised to end wars, not start wars. He called himself the president of peace. What is your message to those people experiencing this war fatigue?
Yeah, well, it's not been very long. We were in Iraq and Afghanistan for over 20 years under a couple of different presidents. So this is a very short term.
Including Donald Trump, who was there. I mean, he was the president for all 4 years while we were in Iraq, and while we were in Afghanistan anyway. And then it was his plan to leave that he signed and then made happen and put into place that Joe Biden was then forced to follow with. And if he hadn't been forced to follow it, they would have screamed bloody murder. That's the thing about the Afghanistan withdrawal. Trump wrote it and then signed it and said, this is going to happen after I get elected. Okay, this is a trick that Republicans play all the time. The president can't write shit down like that, because he's the commander-in-chief of the military. And he can say, well, we're going to do it on this date, which is after the election. And if he wins and it's a bad idea, then he can be like, oh, I changed my mind. We don't want to do that. If he wins and it's a good idea, he can run on it and do it and tell you how great he is. If the other guy wins, and Joe Biden did win, and it's a good idea, Joe Biden does it, but then Trump takes the credit and says, actually, I wrote that. So all the good things that happened were because of me. Why bother voting for him if he's just going to do the things I wrote down? Then, if that goes badly, and it did, and Trump can wave his hands from it, say like, "Whoa, look how bad of a job he did! Oh my God!" And then Joe Biden can. The only argument he has is, "You wrote it, I had to follow it because that's the law." And then they call him a wiener and a baby and a crybaby and a bitch. And then they call him names, and then they scream about the Afghanistan withdrawal for 1,000 years. We've killed more people, I think, with like Tomahawk missiles in the Caribbean than died during the Afghanistan withdrawal. Probably. I don't know. I haven't thought about that in a while. But we're murdering people on a regular basis here in America. The American military is regularly killing people. And so I don't care when Donnie whines and cries about the lives lost leaving Afghanistan and how bad of a job it was. It was his job. It was his idea. He did it, and it was piss poor, and it was awful. Sorry, I got off topic there. Okay.
Conflict. And this is all about lasting peace. It's not a forever war. President Trump is trying to rid us.
I mean, it's a forever war so far. Girl, you're acting like it's over. We're bombing them right now. Still, we've been days away. We've been seconds away from a deal. We've been minutes away from a peace negotiation for weeks. How many more weeks are these? How many more weeks do we have to wait for the minutes?
Of a terrorist regime that has been wreaking havoc on our own military, threatening to have a nuclear weapon, which they were just about close to having.
They've been minutes away from that too since the 80s. Benjamin Netanyahu told us in 1995 that they were weeks away.
Weapons grade nuclear weapon. This is a regime we've been fighting for 47 years. They have no problem killing their own.
It's not a forever war. We've been fighting them for 47 years. It's not a forever war. We've been fighting them for 47 years. Claudia, honey, do you hear what you just did? Do you hear what you said? Do you know the things you're saying? Do you think about them before you spit them out? We're not in a forever war. It's only been 6 months for this war, and we've been fighting them for 47 years.
On people in the streets, gouging out the eyes of women or anyone who stands up to the regime. It's time for them to go, and it's time to have peace and prosperity.
The JCPOA was leading to peace and prosperity. You absolute fucking monster. It was leading them to be a first world country. The JCPOA, the 2015 peace plan, was going to make them a better country. And you and Donnie destroyed it because you hate Obama more than you like reality. You hate Obama so damn much that if he did a good thing, you have to destroy it and replace it with a bad thing. It's fucking stupid. It's petty. It's spite. It's non-logical. It's illogical. I know conservatives love that fucking logic shit. They never shut up about it. They never stop talking about how the woke left is in their feelings. It was going to make them a functioning country. It was going to make them a first world country that we could be allies with. This would not be happening. The Strait would not be shut down. They would not be creating nuclear weapons. They would be responsible. They would have rules to follow. Now there are no rules. There are no rules. No one knows what the rules are going to be. No one knows what the strait is going to look like. No one knows what is going to happen tomorrow. If we still had the JCPOA, we might know what happens tomorrow. And as usual, the Iranian government can't be trusted either. Since the JCPOA got destroyed, they have said, okay, well, if you won't trust us, we can't do business with you. We are not going to be your friends ever. We're going to lie to you. We're going to do everything we can to maximize our power. Instead of being friendly, we have now started an arms race with them. And when you're in an arms race, you can't tell the truth. According to the statement, the IRGC, Aerospace Force, and Navy units targeted and destroyed 18 U.S. military targets at Ali Al Salem Air Base in Al Mabad Al Jabbar Air Base in Kuwait, as well as the Sheikh Issa Air Base in Bahrain. But most of this is not true. Most of this isn't true. Hopefully that means they don't return fire, but I have my doubts. The IRGC claimed it carried out 2 waves of retaliatory strikes against U.S. military installations following alleged American attacks on IRGC facilities, because they are also liars. They cannot be trusted. You cannot listen to the things that they say. They have no credibility. But neither does Donald Trump. Neither does Netanyahu. We have 3 gigantic super liars in charge of World War III, and it's a fucking mess. Okay, so let's see where we are. Let's see, U.S. launched another assault on Iran, sending airstrikes at multiple targets. Around 5:15 Eastern Wednesday, marking the second consecutive day of strikes that began in response to a military helicopter crash off the Strait of Hormuz, said Iran had downed. Today's strikes comes both Donald Trump and U.S. Defense Secretary bloodthirsty Pete Hegseth said that the U.S. military was planning on striking Iran again. We hit them hard yesterday, and we're going to hit them hard again today. Iranian state media reports hearing explosions in the port city of Gorgan and Bandar Abbas. We're hitting their water reservoirs. Great. Probably a war crime, but who cares? Calculated war crime, sure is, but who fucking cares? I mean, I would like that not to be true, but the people in charge don't give a shit. Even as he spoke to the U.S. launching more airstrikes on Iran, Trump maintained that the U.S. was really close to reaching a deal. We're really close. Any minute, we're going to reach a deal with them. And that's fucking stupid. It's nonsense. He's going to say really close until the election. He's going to say really close until October. Trump also announced that on Wednesday that the U.S. military carried out a secret mission to help move more than 100 million barrels of oil through the Strait of Hormuz. Haig said that this announcement proved that the U.S. blockade to be ironclad and that ultimately the U.S. controls the waterway. Again, nobody's sure if this actually happened. This might be a giant fucking lie. The Iranian media says that this didn't happen. Again, they can't be trusted either. Both could be lying. They might have got a tenth of this through. They're exaggerating the numbers. Donnie loves to exaggerate numbers. And then the Iranians, to save face, to look less like losers, will lie and undercut the numbers. Neither side can be trusted. More Hormuz news. CENTCOM posted that U.S. forces fired upon a Palau-flagged oil tanker in the Gulf of Oman that was attempting to transport oil from Iran. So Israeli military operations have continued in Lebanon. You know, the thing that was part of the ceasefire talks. Iran doesn't want Israel murdering innocent people in Lebanon. So they said, make that a part of the deals. And Trump said, yes, okay, great. We'll stop killing people in Lebanon. And then Israel continued to kill people in Lebanon and steal their land. Lebanese health ministry on Wednesday updating the total death to 3,696 people that have been killed in Israeli attacks since the fighting began on March 2nd. In addition to the fatalities, 11,413 people have been injured, the health ministry said. And United Nations Chief Antonio Guterres has warned the risk of return of full war in the Middle East after Iran and the United States traded strikes. Because, again, we're being run by dipshits. They are not smart enough to know how this game works. They do not understand it. They just think it's shitposting. They accidentally won the presidency with shitposting, with Facebook memes, and they think they can do the same when it comes to global thermonuclear war. And they can't. Iranian media are also reporting strikes in the port city of Bandar Abbas. Okay. Iranian state media is claiming U.S. ships near the Strait of Hormuz have been targeted by missiles and drones launched by Iran's armed forces. So they're saying that they have, but we're not sure if that's true because they would over-exaggerate how well they're doing. Just like the United States is over-exaggerating how well they're doing. Here's Pete Hegseth, a huge piece of shit. Speaking at ceremony in Jerusalem on Wednesday, Israel's defense minister said the campaign against Iran was far from over. So the Israeli officials are saying it's far from over, and warned that if Iran attacks Israel again, it will suffer a severe blow. So there, the three sides of this war are all giant, super pieces of shit who lie a lot. So it's hard to really understand what the hell's going on. In the hours before the U.S. began the fresh round of strikes in the U.S. On Iran, the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad issued new warnings. Great. Iran says Strait of Hormuz closed for passage to any vehicles. So they're saying it's passage of any vehicles. So they're making it worse there. And Donald Trump is going to lie about it. He's going to lie to make himself look better. The Iranians said that they closed it, but we got 100 million barrels out. They're incapable. They can't beat us. Our blockade is perfect and wonderful and fantastic, and their blockade is ugly and the worst and terrible. Trump claims he spoke directly with Iranian officials. Again, I don't know if that fucking happened. The man lies so goddamn much. I don't know if this happened. This may not have happened. Or maybe it did. Or maybe they were just fucking journalists. Or maybe they were just fucking people who work at the IRS in Iran. I don't know, man. Again, none of this can be trusted. And it's also reported by fucking media who all have their own agenda. And then they put their spin on it. This is that we had a Stone Age, a Bronze Age, an Iron Age. We had a Space Age. We had an Information Age when the internet came online. And now we have a Misinformation Age. That is what we are stuck right in the middle of. The Misinformation Age. What else we got? U.S. says commercial ships are continuing to transit the Strait of Hormuz. The U.S. is also contradicting claims from Iran that U.S. ships near the Strait of Hormuz were targeted by missile drones. Again, so both sides are lying and exaggerating. And then I think we're caught up to the latest stuff. Let's see. U.S. military says it's striking multiple targets in Iran. It's the second day of renewed fire. Launching missiles. Hooray. No. This is probably just going to tell us what we already knew. So yeah, war. It's on and it sucks and it irritates the shit out of me. This will continue forever. As long as Donald Trump is in charge, this is how war looks. It can't succeed. It can't. Not like this. There's random ass bombings. No, they just fucking build back and wait and hide from the next one. This will not work. Random ass bombing runs will not get you an agreement. And if you even got an agreement from them, they just say whatever you needed them to say and tell you to go the fuck away. And then Johnny, being the ADD little toddler that he is, would go play with something else. He'd go play with a different toy. And they would go right back to what they wanted to do. And whenever Donald needs a boogeyman, whenever he needs a scary monster Muslim for the American people to hate, for MAGA to hate, he will bring them back up and he will bomb them and then threaten them, and then they will act exactly as they always have. He's stomping on an ant bed and then crying when they bite him. Like, you could have just left it alone. You could have just ignored the ant bed. It's out in the middle of nowhere near your home, not harming you at all, but you went there and you stomped on it. And now they're all riled up and they're all running around and they're all biting you. And this is their fault somehow. Fucking stupid. And he will do that whenever he wants, whenever he needs a bump in the polls. Because MAGA loves that shit. They hate Muslims and they hate Iran because their media has told them to hate them. They don't know why. They don't understand what it is or how many people are in the country or what the JCPOA was or what the Obama deal was or what a diplomacy actually is. They just hate them because they're taught to. All the players in this war are obsessed narcissists. They're obsessive narcissists. They are fighting to keep their power, fighting to keep their version of ideology alive. It's not a distraction. A lot of online critiques use the word distraction. And I think that's the wrong term. He's not using Iran to distract from Venezuela, which is to distract from the economy, which is to distract from the Epstein files. No. Everything we see from MAGA is performance. The kick-ass videos that ICE puts out, they rated very visually, they very visually raided this apartment building filled with immigrants, filled with the worst of the worst. None of them were convicted of any crimes. They hassled them. ICE showed up with helicopters, fast rope down. They brought in all the trucks. They brought in all the lights. They ran in there in the middle of the night. They rounded all these people up. They took them to a court, and the court said, "What the fuck? These people are innocent. Send them home." And then they went home. But it got a really kick-ass video. They got a really nice video out of it. They got all kinds of hyped up images of ICE dudes kicking in doors and shit. They loved it. That's all they care about. The image, the performance. Donald Trump's face on passports, performance. His face on the $250 bill, his name on the Kennedy Center, the arch that he wants to build, the ballroom, the repainting of the reflecting pool outside the Washington Monument, the giant, gaudy, monstrosity, disgusting, ugly-looking UFC fight cage that's on the White House front lawn right now. All about image. Pausing for a second after being shot at to do his fight photo. All of it is about image. None of that is policy. None of the things that I mentioned are policy. The most important things that we talk about on a daily fucking basis have no policy backing them up. It's just their narcissistic actions that they take without court order, without the proper support from the other two branches of the government. None of it is law. It's all just image. And it comes at a massive cost. They are empty. They are hollow. They have no souls inside. They have no ethics, no morality, no reasoning. Just get the kick-ass video out. Just get the cool image across to the people, and then they will be happy with it. They will like us. They don't know what the government is for. They think it is just a kick-ass video department. And that same thing goes for the other two leaders in this conflict. Netanyahu is a blood and soil fascist who will kill anyone he has to increase his power. He will steal land from anyone if it increases the controllable soil for his bloodline. I know it's not very PC to call him a fascist, but I do, because he operates on blood and soil theology, or ideology, blood and soil ideology. He wants soil for his bloodline, and he will kill other bloodlines to take it from them. That is fascism. And the Iranian leaders are just the same. They know they were about to be tossed out by a revolution. Back in January, Donald mentioned it. All those revolution people, all those protesters who got hurt by the government, only he made shit worse. Those protesters had a chance to make a difference. They were gaining in strength. Now they're not. The Iranian government was actually scared of them, worried about them, and that's why they cracked down and used all that violence. That means you're winning. When your revolutionary protest is met with state violence, you're winning. It hurts and it sucks, and I feel bad for the dead people, but they are winning. Regular people don't like that. And now the Iranian government doesn't have to fight them anymore because they have to fight America. America is now doing the violence. Normal people fight against the people, the big systems that offer them violence. And it was the Iranian government doing the violence, and the people of Iran were fighting against it. Not anymore. Now it's the American government doing the violence. So they have coalesced. They have come together, holding hands to fight the great Satan of America. And Donald gave us that. We could have done nothing, and they would have done their own regime change, put their own people in charge, and maybe even built their own democracy. When back in the 1700s, the English government was being violent towards the colonies, and then they revolted. The English government was being violent towards the Indians and the Pakistanis, and they all revolted as well. They had their revolutions. They broke away from the crown. Iran could have done that, but Donnie got involved because he's a moron, because he's an idiot. He doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know what anything is. He doesn't know why people are the way they are. He assumes that everyone is just like him and wants as much power as possible. What do I think is going to happen? Massive invasion. That is the only way this can go. From Donald's standpoint, bombing them ain't going to work. They'll just keep rebuilding the missiles. They'll keep dodging the stuff. A couple of little bombs here and there is not going to convince them. Either, well, I guess there are a couple of different options. They sign a bullshit treaty that's exactly like the JCPOA, and Donald gets it signed, and then he goes away and does fucking something else. He goes and plays with a different toy. And then they go back to doing whatever the fuck they want. And it's just not in the news. That's, I guess, the best case scenario right now. More likely, if you ask me, massive ground invasion. Donald gets his Vietnam. He gets it. He sends in all of our American troops to do a massive ground invasion. Tens of thousands of our troops die. Millions of their people die. Because he doesn't know what he's doing. And he's not allowed to lose, and he's not allowed to back down. The entire population there will be against us. All of their people will have unified against the people offering them violence, which is America. The reason you do diplomatic sanctions and shit like that is so that the governments of these places are less legitimate and the people want to overthrow them. And when they say, hey, we would like to overthrow you, Mr. Government, the government hits them, and then they all rally together and fight against the government. That's why you do sanctions. That's why we have sanctions on North Korea, so that the people will rally together and kill them, the people in charge, and form an actual government, an actual democracy. That's why you do it. It's not polite to say so, but it's the truth. And that's what I'm here for, the truth. So let's see. It's going to go badly, and we're going to get a ground invasion. That's where I guess I'll have to leave it off right now, because that is what is coming. A gigantic, massive ground invasion where American troops go and die for nothing, for no good damn reason. And the conservatives will all cheer for it. And then 10 years from now, when I'm still doing this podcast and I have maybe 600 subscribers as opposed to today's 460, 10 years from now, the conservatives will say, oh, we shouldn't have gone into Iran. Just like they say that we shouldn't have gone into Iraq today. But 10 years ago, 20 years ago, when we started it, they were all on board. It's the problem of conservatism. It's a problem with conservatives. They love the fight today, but then they abhor the fight of yesterday. But they cheer for every new fight. It doesn't make any sense. It's a weird ideology to try and wrap your head around. I always have difficulty with it, especially with their disagreement and disgust of the Iraq and Afghanistan wars. And I'm like, you guys were all about that shit. We're all about that shit. What else do we have to talk about today? Here we go. Here's some fun stuff. So apparently over in Belfast, Ireland, we're having a race war. Hooray! Race war! Yay! Hundreds of anti-immigrant protesters took to the street in Belfast, with some setting vehicles alight after a police charged a Sudanese man over a knife attack that left one person with serious neck and head wounds. That's all it takes. Sudanese man who has been caught by the police. The police know who he is. They got him. They're charging him. He's going to be put on trial. It caused one person's serious neck and head wounds. Has started a race war. So let's watch this. Oh, there's no audio. I thought there was audio to this, but they set this bus on fire. The white nationalists, the white boy summer, is starting early this year. So let's say, look at this one. Here we go. Families had to be led to safety through the flames. It wasn't just homes. Cars were also torched by young masked men in these predominantly unionist streets. But the target here was immigrants. This is what it likes.
Homes were targeted and burned. Families had to be led to safety through the flames, rescued by emergency services,
children
risking their lives in the most dangerous situation. It wasn't just homes. Cars were also torched by young masked men in these predominantly unionist streets. But the target here was immigrants, and the message to entirely innocent families was, you're not welcome.
So, race war. A man of Sudanese descent, probably some sort of immigrant, got into some sort of altercation with a white boy, and now all immigrants have to pay the price. This is fascism. This is blood and soil. Your blood does not belong on our soil. If it was a white guy got in fight with a white guy, it wouldn't be out. The white guys wouldn't put on masks and go destroy a bunch of neighborhoods. Doesn't make any sense. And by their own logic, and it is their logic, the people who had their houses burned down should go to white neighborhoods and attack and burn things there, because that's what they want. That's what the white nationalists want. They want a race war. They're trying to start it. They're trying their ass off to start a race war because they hate. Here we go. And hey, guess who else is feeding the hate? Guess who else making everything fucking worse? It's Elon Musk, the piece of shit. Elon Musk was right. According to Inevitable West, whoever the fuck that is, probably some sort of fascist. Elon Musk was right. You either fight back or you die. Elon Musk says that's what it comes down to. Owner of X, Elon Musk has reposted his September 25 call for the preemptive inter-ethnic violence, civil war, is necessary for self-defense. So either you create racial enclaves and keep everybody within their borders, or we all die. It's just fucking insanity. Elon Musk is a Nazi. No doubt about it. He proved it when he did the Sieg Heil during the election. He proved it when he tried to come to America and buy a bunch of votes. He is a super villain. He is inches away from becoming the world's first trillionaire. And he does not deserve it. He is a super villain. He is a goddamn comic book fucking villain. He owns the world's largest and most powerful communication device. And he uses it to push racist horseshit. He uses the platform to whitewash white nationalist extremism. He causes violence. And no one in the media is willing to tell you that. They're not willing to say it, because to stop using X.com means that you don't get the best clips on the news. And the media needs the clips. The things I'm doing for you right now is what they do. They just have a large staff and 100 writers and nicer cameras and better equipment and sound stuff and the cameramen and all those things. But they're not doing any differently than I am. They're just well funded. They go to fucking social media, they look for the fucking clips, they write some shit down, and then they send it to you. That's not any different than what I do. They need Twitter. They need X.com so that they can get those clips, which is why they can't say anything bad about Elon Musk. They'll kick the news media out. And then how would they get to know what happened in Belfast? How would the BBC get this damn photo if...
Homes with names.
How would the BBC get this photo if it weren't for all the people standing around taking the photos? Let me see. Right, where was I? Look, these people have their phones out, and they're posting that shit on Twitter. Then the BBC takes it. Mr. Saul Sandsforth posted this shit. And then the news media probably paid him a little bit of money so that they could show it on the TV. They need Twitter. They're addicted to it. I dig it. I recognize the value of it. I just wish the damn thing wasn't owned and operated by a literal fucking Nazi who's spreading hate crimes, who's spreading hatred, who's telling white nationalists that they're doing the right thing by hating on everybody who's a different skin color than them. Gutter fucking racism is being spread by the world's most powerful communication tool. And we can't do any damn thing about it because the media likes it. The media needs that tool. Don't you understand? They have to have the tool. Let's see what else we got. They got water cannons firing at the crowds. Protesters are damaging property and hurling bricks at the police. You know, Like I brought a sledgehammer to break up somebody's front yard and then pry the stones out and throw them at police. White nationalists, Nazis, are harming people. They're harming innocent people because an innocent person got hurt. That's their fucking logic. One innocent white boy got hurt. Maybe he wasn't innocent. I don't know. And that means they must hurt hundreds of innocent people and burn their houses down. Doesn't make a lot of sense if you ask me. There's not a lot of logic there. Seems like a lot of fucking feels. Elon Musk accused of fueling unrest after Belfast knife attack. The use of social media in planning violent protests over an Belfast knife attack has drawn condemnation, with Britain's ruling Labour Party accusing Elon Musk of stoking division. The tech billionaire continued overnight to promote calls for people to take to the streets in response to the assault, which left a man in serious condition in the hospital. Didn't even kill anybody. It's not like this Sudanese guy came in here and killed 700 people. He seriously injured one, which is a crime that he has been caught and is about to be prosecuted for. The police have charged him. They got him. He's off the street. And unless he has some sort of bail, in which case that's fine. He's back on the street. And if he fucking attacks somebody else, then he won't be on the street. Okay? 30-year-old Sudanese man who was given leave to remain in the UK until 2028 was charged with attempted murder and will appear in court later on Wednesday. Wednesday. It's not like he's being kept until the 2029. Wednesday. Disorder erupted on the city on Tuesday with anti-immigration protesters setting fire to vehicles and property, forcing some of the... thank you, iViewersStreamBoo.com. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for the wonderful interruption. So they set fire and forced people to flee their homes. Labour Party chairwoman Anna Turley said online platforms were playing a role in driving the unrest and suggested ex-owner Musk was one of the bad faith actors inflaming tensions. And that makes sense. That's a nice thing to say. Get off Twitter. Get the fuck off of it. Don't use it. Don't click on it. Tell everyone you know to get the fuck off of it. It's owned and operated by a literal Nazi. If you're paying him for a blue check mark, you're paying a Nazi. Quit doing that. You're empowering him. You're giving him your dollars. Quit doing that. If you're in the government, make a big old post about it. I will no longer use X because it is owned and operated by a Nazi, and then close your account. If enough people do that, the advertisers won't show up. And if the advertisers aren't there, they don't make any money. And then they will oust, either Elon will collapse, the whole thing falls apart, and someone else will start it over again without him. Or they will get rid of him. They will fire him. And then you can go back. Honestly. Just fucking do the world a favor and say, I will not use this until Elon is gone. And then they can get rid of him. So they want to anyway. I doubt anybody who isn't a piece of shit wants him there. Anybody who is an Elon fan at this point is a bad person. Anybody who's defending him, anybody who's protecting him inside these companies is a real piece of shit. And they shouldn't be in charge anyway. So, yeah, race war. There we go again. Yeah, race war. All right. So that was all for the race war for today. Let's see what else we got to talk about today. I told you we got a lot to talk about tonight. So let's watch the big old baby, the whiny little bitch that he is, really piss and moan about being treated unfairly. Let's watch Donnie walk out of an interview. It's very fun.
The election was rigged. It was a dirty election. And it's happening again right now in California.
Presented evidence
it's happening
that the
right now in California. Right now it's look at what's happening in California.
To that?
It's
the
4
Republicans
days.
are doing well in
California. No, they're not. They're dropping fast because it's a rigged election. Let me tell you, it's 4 days. And they aren't even close to coming up with it. You know why they're doing that? Because they're cheating on the election.
He is scared of the rain.
All I have to do is look. All I have to do is look.
All I have to do is look.
Cheating on
All I have to do is look. Where's the evidence? He feels it. Y'all, he feels this evidence. He doesn't need documents. He doesn't need photos. He doesn't need pieces of evidence to put in front of a court. He doesn't need sworn testimony. No, 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 no. He feels.
Evidence. Trust me, bro.
He feels like it's true.
In the election.
What? Do you have evidence to support
all
that?
I have to do is look. All I have to do is
that's
look.
Not
All I have to do is look.
And I listen. And I listen to people. And let's see what happens.
But, sir, that's not evidence.
Do you think it's appropriate?
That's how they count the votes in California.
Do you think it's appropriate that they have an election and 5 days later they're nowhere close to picking a winner?
State and local officials.
That's the way it's always been, Donnie, you dumb son of a bitch. That's the way it's always been. When Republican Arnold Schwarzenegger won the governor race, it took them 30 days to count the votes. But that was in 2007. So he doesn't fucking know that shit. Anything politically that happened before Donald Trump got involved in 2015 didn't exist. Wasn't real. He doesn't know it. Nobody else fucking knows it. Nobody in MAGA was watching the news before 2015. Maybe they would watch some of the local news and shit like that, but they weren't watching politics. Politics is boring, and everybody's a liar, and everybody's crooked, and they don't give a shit. The vast majority of MAGA did not pay attention to the news before 2015, so they don't know how it actually works. Everything looks like a conspiracy theory if you're stupid. If you don't know how the government works, then when you see how it works, you're like, well, that can't be how it works. How could that possibly be correct? It's always been that way, Donnie. It's always been that way.
Acknowledge they are slow. They're urging.
No, they're crooked.
They're urging the votes to be counted quickly. That's how they vote in California.
They're crooked, just like you're crooked. Your press is crooked, and Meet the Press.
He looks like a goblin king with a mullet crown.
Yeah, he does.
Not crooked, but let's
really.
Let's
well,
continue.
You play right into their hands.
You play right into their hands. Who's they, Donnie? Are they in the room with us right now? Who's they?
Continue.
You're either crooked or you're stupid.
Let's
you play
continue.
right into their hands with this rap. You know that these elections are rigged.
I know that they aren't. There is no evidence to suggest that the elections are rigged. He is lying to you. He's lying to the American people. He's looking right into a fucking camera and lying his ass off. This should chase him out of politics forever.
IDK Waldo. That's a pretty good argument.
It has nothing. There's no value there. But stupid people love it because reality is boring and complicated. Laws are just a bunch of fucking books. And reading books is nerd shit. Knowing how shit works takes education. And education is nerd shit. They don't want that shit. MAGA hates intelligence. They hate knowing things. They hate learning. They hate experts. They hate college professors. MAGA hates knowledge. They do not want it. They do not need it. They want to just go with their gut. They want to go with their common sense, their feeling in their gut, the feeling of common sense. Whatever feels right to them in the vibe, that's what matters. I'll just look and know that it's crooked. I'll just look and see the evidence. If there was a Jack Reacher book, it'd be true, and then they'd have to read a book and throw that. Yeah, I know. Reading the Jack Reacher book teaches them things, so they don't do that. They watch the TV show.
Your network knows that they're rigged. You know that I won an election in a landslide.
He's talking now, it's hard to follow, but he's not talking about 2020, he's talking about 24.
And I got 94% bad press.
But Mr. President,
you know why I got that?
Because you're a liar and a criminal and you pay for hookers while cheating on your wife and you were best friends with Jeffrey Epstein. That's my answer. That's why you get 94% bad press, Donnie. Listen. You do the wrong things. You do the bad things. You do the crimes. And you're best friends with Jeffrey Epstein. or were, before you had him killed. That's why you get bad press.
Because you have no credibility.
But you've never presented evidence that it was rigged. Let's keep talking about, I want to talk about Todd
You
Blanche.
have more evidence. There's more evidence than ever presented.
Let's talk.
Now, this is just a grammatical issue for me. There's more evidence than ever presented. Let's diagram that sentence for a minute. There's more evidence than ever presented. So, like, you've got some secret evidence that you haven't presented. You got some shit you're holding back on us. You got something that would prove your case, but you didn't put it in front of the judge. You've got more evidence than has ever been presented. Where? Where is it? Are you keeping it? Is it in Mar-a-Lago? In your bathroom? Is that where you put it? Is that where you put all the evidence? What do you got, Donnie? He's just shit
Never
talking.
has there been more evidence for anything ever for anything.
Right. And none of it has been presented, right? Than has ever been presented. That suggests that it has not been presented. So there has never been more evidence, and no one's seen it. And you can't see it. And you just have to take his word. You see, he has the top secret, double blind secret evidence. And you're not allowed to see that. You don't have the clearance for top secret evidence, okay? And if you saw the top secret evidence, they would have to kill you. So, out of politeness, he has just told you what the evidence means, and you are, out of politeness, supposed to trust him. This is insanity. This is madness. But again, MAGA doesn't know stuff. Ignorance is their strength. Wonder if anybody wrote that down in a famous book before.
Your elections in this country, we're like a third world country. Your elections are crooked, and you're crooked, and Meet the Press is crooked, and so is ABC, and CBS, and CNN.
But Mr. President,
you're one-sided crooked networks. Right, let's go.
Either all of the people who are paid to
There's more
show
evidence
stuff.
of election fraud than there is of Trump having a dick, if you think about it.
Well, I don't know. He's got several children. And there's that, and then there's the Stormy Daniels testimony talking about it. She said it was shaped like Toad from Mario, which is weird and disturbing. With like a big hat and then a very small little spindly little body underneath it. But that's what she said. Again, so and so you have to look at the secondary evidence in that situation.
He's rich. That solves PP. Also, Stormy was paid.
Well, she could have been paid to say that. It's entirely true. She was acting as a hooker at that time. I don't want to disrespect her. She was acting as a prostitute at that time. Porn is not prostitution. I recognize that. But she wasn't doing porn with Donald Trump. He was buying her stuff. He was paying her rent. He was buying her cars. And in exchange, she did dirty things to him. That's prostitution, boss. And I think it should be legal. Like, I don't want to shame her for that. I want that to be a legal job that she can fucking file her fucking taxes. This guy gave me this much money. I had sex with him. The end. And then file that shit.
Monroe work really went downhill.
So, yeah. And so he's about to leave. So either all of these networks are against him and he's the only one telling the truth, or he's a liar. I think the second one is more likely. But let's watch him storm off. Where's the button? There's the button.
Call it quits because I've had enough. Thank you, darling. Have a good time.
Mr. President, let's please. I traveled all the way to Wisconsin.
I've sat in the rain with you.
I know.
I sat in the rain with you. That's the rain that you hear, because every time they'd start to talk, because he wanted to be in front of the tractors, y'all. Like, MAGA is full of idiots. And if they see the president standing in and around a tractor, that means he's a better president, because they're morons. They have baby brains. They have the IQ of toddlers. So president, tractor, president good for tractors. Farmers use tractors, president good for farmers. They're idiots. So they wanted to do it in this fucking barn, but then it started to rain, and rain in a barn is loud as shit, and you can actually hear it in the background of this video.
In the rain with you for an hour, on and off in the rain, and I've given you enough time. You ought to straighten out your press, because you know what? A country can never be great with a dishonest press.
Listen, we traveled all the way to Wisconsin.
The country can never be great with a dishonest press. Boss, you just told many, 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 many lies, and the press is telling you that you're a liar. You're the problem here, not the press. The press has its own issues. The media has problems. But calling you a liar ain't one of them.
Wisconsin for this interview.
And then he just wanders out. So, I do like that sometimes they stand up to him and they tell him that he's a liar. That's good news. I wish they would do it more often. I wish more of them would do it. But then they just lose their access. He's never going to talk to that lady again. He's never going to talk to her again because she's going to ask him difficult questions. And so he's just going to pick and choose which news people he talks to, which ones are nice to him. And they will ask the right questions, and they will get the job, and they will get the accolades, and they'll get to be on the TV. And then that will seem like he's doing a good job, but the questions that are being asked him are fair because you won't see anything else. If he dodges all the questions of the people who are founded and stuck in reality, you'll begin to see only the bullshit, only the propaganda. He just finished book 4 of Dune, and Dune is a brain rotten god emperor. Yep, he is the brain rotted emperor. I am going to be honest with you. I could never read Dune. I tried. I read books all the time.
The Rain and All.
Yeah, I've read The Wheel of Time twice now, but Dune, I can't do it. I tried. I don't know what's going on, man. I get so bored in those first bunch of things. I didn't know what a Muad'Dib was until I watched the movie and found out it was a mouse or some shit. I didn't know what it was, and it went on and on and on and on about him. And I was like, is this a guy? Is this the man's name? I don't know what's going on. Anyway, I'm sure it's great, and I will try it again someday. So let's keep complaining about the end of democracy. Trump DOJ doubles down on claims that states can purge voters right before elections. So this is going to happen. If you are registered to vote, they are just going to drop your name from the registry. The Trump Justice Department is doubling down on an argument that, if accepted, could open the door for the administration and anti-voting groups to create lists of voters and send them to states for removal right before the elections. In a new filing Tuesday, in its lawsuit seeking Georgia's unredacted statewide voter registration list, DOJ again argued that the National Voter Registration Act 90-day quiet period does not block states from purging individual voters if they've been flagged as potentially ineligible. The quiet period is one of the NVRA's central protections of voters, barring states from carrying out systematic voter removals within 90 days of a federal election. The safeguard is meant to prevent eligible voters from being wrongly kicked off the rolls too close to Election Day when they may not have enough time to challenge their removal. But the DOJ's latest filing suggestion suggests that it may be laying the groundwork to argue for a workaround of which, if accepted by courts, could make it easier to do so to purge voters. That's what they want. They don't want you to vote. Don't vote, according to Donald Trump. He is going to make it illegal and impossible for you to do so. Because he hates you. Because he hates the country. Because he hates voting. Because he hates democracy. It keeps getting in the way of his schemes. It keeps getting in the way of his grift. Democracy keeps making judges say that his actions are illegal. And he hates that shit. He doesn't want that. He doesn't need some fucking law book written in 1874 to tell him he's breaking the damn law. He hates that shit. Don't even try to read Dune. Okay, hate it more than I like it. It's cool shit. The vibe's hard, but holy shit, I'm still reading because I'm already 3 or 4 books. Yeah, okay. All right. I'm glad. I'm not the only one. I felt stupid. Like after I got part of the way through the first one, I was like, man, I do not like this. And I felt bad. I felt dumb. I didn't tell anybody. I was embarrassed. Maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I'm too stupid to read Dune. Maybe. But I appreciate that. Thanks. What else do we got? So they're going to kick people off. Then what else we got? The Postal Service won't deliver mail ballots for states that don't hand over their voter lists under the plan for Trump directive. State election officials could soon face a stark choice: hand over voter lists to the Trump administration or risk losing Postal Service delivery for mail-in ballots. So the post office is a federal entity. And then the federal Donald Trump administration has said to the states, give us your voter rolls. Now, that is illegal. They cannot do that. The states are in charge of the elections. The red states have already given Donald Trump their voter rolls because they're cucks, because they're bitches. Red states filled with MAGA dipshits who love kissing the God King Emperor Trump's butt. They love that shit. They love it when Strong Daddy tells them what to do. Okay? But they hate democracy. They hate people being free.
You have a chart about why
people.
Trump doesn't care about those laws.
Yeah, I do have a chart about that. It's true. They hate the idea that people would vote differently than them. See, so they don't like it when people vote differently than the red states because that's not how democracy works. They hate that shit. People are different than me. Let's kill them. That's the conservative idea, really, honestly. Swear to God. That's what conservatives want. That's how they do. That's how they operate. That's how they think. That person is different. Can we, keep them away from me with violence? Can we corral them? Can we put them in a camp? Can we re-educate them? Can we take away their voting rights? Can we take away their power? Can we take away their social security number? Can we take away their names? Can we take away their birthdays? Can we just cancel Christmas from them and only have it for us conservatives? Conservatives are bad people. And they tend to clump together in those red states. And then they do bad things. And then when a bad president comes along and says, hey, I'm going to hurt the people you hate if you give me this information that I have no right to have, the red states are like, yeah, you got it, dog. We see you. We got you, dog. We're right there with you. Here's the list of people that we want you to kick off of the fucking voter rolls. Here's the list of minorities and leftists and liberals and just assorted brown people that we don't want to vote anymore. Here's the list. Boot their asses off. Don't let them vote anymore. Gross. They might vote for somebody we don't like. And this is part of the plan. That's what they want. That is the plan, to remove the voting ability of anyone who isn't hard right MAGA. That is what they're doing. They're taking your vote away. And MAGA, listen, if you're listening, if there's some conservative watching right now, they're going to take your vote away too. They came for the leftists and I didn't say anything because I wasn't a leftist. They came for the minorities and I didn't say anything because I wasn't a minority. They came for the Democrats and I didn't say anything because I wasn't a Democrat. Then they came for me and there was nobody left to protect me. They will take your shit too. They will take conservative votes away and then just assume that you're always going to vote for them, and it'll be an eternal vote. It'll be like, okay, which of the two parties gets to be in charge forever? You voted Republican. Congratulations, Republicans get to win forever, and they no longer have to have elections, and we're just going to end all that shit. It was too expensive anyway. Nobody liked it. Now they're using the post office to wreck your shit, to take your vote away from you. And here's a Ro Khanna. Sorry, Ro Khanna, I'm going to disagree with you. Ro Khanna, a somewhat left-leaning guy from from California. So he is a left-leaning guy from California who generally has correct things to say somewhat. He's a little too close to Silicon Valley for me. He's a little too close to all those billionaires, Ro Khanna is. But he said, a close friend of mine is canceling his voter registration today. He is convinced Spencer Pratt was robbed of the election. I explained to him that in California, we count absentee ballots first, which they skew older and more conservative, and election day voters are younger and more Democratic. The slow count is largely because of policies to maximize participation, including postmarking a ballot on election day. Regardless, we need to figure out in California how we can get the vote counted faster and results tabulated so it does not drag on. We should make the investments in operational improvements and resources in the wealthiest state in the nation. It is worth spending the resources to get the vast majority of the vote counted within 48 hours. Right now, the system is eroding trust and spawning conspiracy theories. No, Ro Khanna, wrong. The system is not eroding trust. Lying bastards like Donald Trump are eroding trust. Lying ass Republicans are eroding trust by telling people that it's rigged. The president saying that the elections are rigged is eroding trust. The MAGA morons inventing conspiracy theories are why we have conspiracy theories, not because the system has failed. This is just an educational problem, as usual. The system has always been like this. It's always taken 30 days in California. But they didn't know that. The MAGA morons don't know stuff. They don't know things. They don't like experts. They don't like people who are educated telling them true shit. They hate that. That's the one thing that MAGA hates the fucking most. Educated people explaining shit to them. They hate that. Everything looks like a conspiracy theory if you don't know how things are supposed to work. And MAGA movement is built on not knowing things. Ignorance is strength. The vast majority of them did not actually pay attention to politics before Trump showed up in 2014 with his screeching about Obama's birth certificate, which turned out to be a fucking lie. He was wrong. He lied constantly about that in 2014. That's when I stopped trusting him. That's when I stopped believing him. So the MAGA people don't know how the system works. California has always taken 30 days to count the votes, and this isn't a problem of the system, Ro Khanna. This is a problem of education. This is a problem of framing. Talked about framing about an hour ago. Stop letting Republicans frame the fucking news. Spencer Pratt got out, was going to lose. We knew he was going to lose. All the polls said he was going to lose, and it's a blue fucking state. We knew he was going to lose. And if we were intelligent, we would educate the fucking stupid among us. But we don't want to do that because they hate it. We are damned within this country to give political power to the fucking stupidest among us. And I wish they weren't so stupid. I really wish we could educate them, but their entire identity is bound by not knowing
That's
stuff.
a wild tweet from R.O. Canna FRFR.
And it places the blame. It's framing things wrong. The system didn't fail. The people who misunderstand the system are lying about it. The grifters are taking advantage of that and telling you that it's a scam when it's not. Spencer Pratt is a liar. He knows how the system works, but he's lying to make himself feel like the victim. And then the MAGA people will feel about him the way they feel about Donald Trump being robbed, which he wasn't. And then they will come out to support him and give him money and support and votes. And then he'll get more donations next time. And then when he gets to be in charge of the government, he can steal as much as he can get away with. That is the entire Republican plan. Lie to the rubes, lie to the idiots, lie to conspiracy theorists, get in charge, steal, 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 steal. Take everything you can for as long as you can. And then when a re-election comes along, lie to the rubes some more. They seem to like it. And here's the New York Times doing the Republicans' job for them. Taking a week to count votes is doing it wrong, according to the New York Times opinion editorial board. New York Times, according to Mark Elias right here, who is a very smart guy, Mark Elias, very gold guy. The New York Times gave Donald Trump and the vote suppressors a gift this morning, and it did so one day before the SCOTUS may decide a case that could disenfranchise hundreds of thousands. So that's the vote I was talking about, laying the legal groundwork. So Mark Elias, a lawyer who protects voting rights, posted this dog shit New York Times headline. New York Times, why are you doing republicanism for them? Why are you trying to help Donald Trump win? Why are you doing that? Quit doing that. This is the framing again. Framing. If you start from Republicans are always right, here's what they said, and that must be true, then it's really difficult to argue against. Taking a week to count votes is doing it wrong. It's short, pithy, and wrong. It is short. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 words. But it is wrong. It is incorrect. This is a factually incorrect fucking statement in the newspaper, the biggest, most important newspaper in the damn world. And they're printing factually incorrect shit. Not because they want to, not because that's what the editors want to do, not because that's what the reporters want to do, because that's what the people want. The people love fiction. I do too. We just talked about Dune, and I love reading fictional books. I got Darth Vader right here. I got a Bulbasaur. I got Zero. I got Mega Man. I got more Darth Vader. I got a Mandalorian over here. I got fucking Pez dispensers of an Ewok. You know, I love fictional shit, but not in my government. I want my government to be factual. But that's too much for most people. That's a harsh reality. It is awful. They hate that shit. Most people are not ready for reality. And that makes me sad. I wish they could get on board with reality. Yeah, it's collaboration with Trump to defraud the American people. Absolutely. And that's why the New York Times is doing that. Because it's the opinion board, sure. And so they probably have Republicans on that opinion board who want Donald Trump to win. But it's also what the people want. Most Americans hate reality. They do. They hate the truth. They hate the idea that left-leaning politics will work. Tax the rich. Universal health care. They hate that shit. Reality is not their friend, because then that leads them to abandon their religion too. Knowing stuff and learning things tends to lead you to the left, and the left tends to be atheist, and it tends to be without a religion. And so they're scared to go there. They're scared to learn stuff. MAGA is scared to send their children to college because then they will learn things and they won't be MAGA anymore. Their children will learn that MAGA is full of shit, that the conservatives aren't all there is, that they will leave and not come back. They'll go there, dye their hair blue, have sex with somebody of the same gender, and then it won't be their kid anymore. It'll be somebody else's kid. And that terrifies them, because then that kid won't grow up to be exactly like them.
TBF,
Terrified of this.
I wish I was a big titty tifling paladin.
It's true. I would grant you that wish if I could. Any of it, I really would. If I could snap my fingers and make that reality, I would, but I can't. And you know that. You are a cynic, I suspect, of some sort. Anybody who watches a political streamer is a cynic. Anybody who watches me is definitely a cynic. And we know what the truth is. We know what reality is. And we know that we can't just snap our fingers and become a big titty tiefling paladin. We know that there's no magic. I know that the Force doesn't exist. I know that there are no lightsabers. I know that Mega Man is just a really cool robot in a cartoon, in a video game. I know that Bulbasaur's not real. I know he's filled with probably some sort of cancer-causing cotton blend synthetic fucking weave something. He's a stuffed animal. I dig that. So in your fun time, in your spare time, in the time
So
in
cynical
between,
that I know rainbows don't have all the colors.
Exactly. There you go. This guy knows what's up. In your fun time, in your off time, in your leisure time, have fun with fiction. Play some video games that are based loosely on old religions, Have some good time with that. I'm currently playing Hades 2. It's very good. Have fun with that. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be...
Hello, Commissar.
Hello, Commissar. Oh, hi. Gatanaranja. I've seen their name before a long time ago. Gatanaranja. Gatanaranja. That's a hard name. I'm going to call you Gatan. Gatan. Okay. So have fun with the fictional stuff.
Orange cat in Spanish.
Orange cat. There you go. But don't bring it into the government. The government is not where you have fantasies. The government is not where you air out your imaginary, not realities. The government should be very focused on real stuff. And some of those real things are the feelings of the people. I know this is a complicated thing that I've said 1,000 times before, and it is a complicated subject, but all politics are based on feelings. I feel like it's good for people to be free. I feel like it's bad for people to be sorted by their skin color and given different rights. That's a bad thing.
Are you having a serious talk, no jokes?
I don't know what I'm doing. I just stream and tell you what I'm thinking. I'm having stream of conscious rambles by looking at the news. I look at the news, I tell you what I'm thinking, I tell you what I'm feeling, and then you can do the same.
Why so serious?
Why so serious? I know, right? The idea is
Wanted to ask who is winning today?
Who's winning today? With what? I mean, we're at war with Iran. The Democrats are going to win in California elections.
Open-ended question.
Yeah, who's winning?
Who is winning?
Who's winning? Depends on the race. If you check the California, the Democrats are winning. On the whole, the Republicans are doing very badly, and they're probably going to lose the Senate and the House. Then they're going to impeach Trump. But that's a whole thing. That's got to be waiting until the next year at the
I'm winning,
elections.
Orange cat. I'm winning.
Exactly.
I would say NASDAQ short sellers winning today.
The NASDAQ is a stock market, and that is made up imaginary shit. The stock market is not real. Anybody who gets into it can win. You can win. I'm not saying you can't win, but it's imaginary.
It's not real.
Yeah, it's not real. It's just a feeling that certain people have. They have a feeling about it. Yeah, and so they convince each other that speculation and hype are what they are, and then they sell when the hype is high, and then they buy when the hype is low, and then they hype it up, and then it's all speculative. It's all imaginary, and it's based on nothing.
I love
real.
me the cells.
Yeah, exactly, and it's not based on anything correct. It's not based on any fact. It's based on feelings, and that pisses so many people off. I don't know if it pisses you off, but when I tell people that I know people in real life, that I tell them the entire stock market is based on feelings, and they get so mad at me. They're like, it is not based on feelings. It's all based on math and economists. I'm like, dog, supply exists. I recognize that's a real thing. Supply exists. Supply is a real thing. You can have a supply
You have a good point.
of stuff.
Market is basis on sentiment.
And the demand, supply and demand. What is demand if not a feeling?
But saying it's fake is very far from that.
I know.
You are full of shit.
I know. I'm
But
saying
you
it's
are
fake.
funny.
I know. I appreciate that. And so the feelings of demand. I demand to have this product. I want it. I want it. I want it. Here's my money. Take my money. Give me the thing. That is a feeling. They speculation on consumer sentiment. Sentiment. What is sentiment if not a feeling? The forecasts. I don't trust any fucking economist.
Is the
None
price of milk real or fake?
The price of milk is paid for by money. We made up money as an abstract representation of effort. Money is a made up thing that we invented. It's not.
Sentiment isn't anything except vibes.
Right.
Ripe tomatoes tomorrow are real.
The milk is real. The money is.
Fake milk price detected. Move on.
The milk exists. The price is set by a person who wants to make a profit, and the money we pay for it is a representation of effort. If you put in, it used to be that way. It's just the money's changing slightly. 50 years ago, the more effort you put in, the more money you got. That makes sense. If you went to college, you got a complicated degree, you did brain surgery, they gave you a lot of money on board. You know, you put in a fuckload of effort and you get money for it. The effort you have to do brain surgery is very large, so the amount of money that you can demand for it is very large. Again, feelings. You demand to be paid a certain amount. Very complicated feelings. So we made up money. We can control it. We can uninvent it. We can change it, what it means and what it does. We could control these things. That's what the Fed does. It controls the interest rates and the percentages and shit like that to control the money, which is just a tool.
Lives are real, therefore market is real. Logic.
Right. And then fake, the price of milk isn't fake. It's the number but the amount of money we have is, again, complicated and difficult. It's all based on feelings. And I don't trust economists.
Do you feel the bottle caps would be better than fiat currency?
It'd be exactly
the way it is in Fallout game.
It'd be exactly the same. How much demand do I have for those bottle caps? It would still cause inflation. Close to the end of the game, when I walk into...
there is a limited number of bottle caps.
Well, and to some extent, maybe. But I can always find some more. I've got 10,000 of the damn things, and I walk into... what's the name of the city that's around the bomb? Megaton City. When I walk into Megaton City,
you even have to shut down a bottle cap printer to stop inflation XD.
Right. And I walk into Megaton City and I spend 10,000 of them. I'm going to affect that economy, but not in the game. It never changes. They never, like the shop owner that I dropped 10,000 fucking bottle caps on doesn't upgrade their shop. They don't upgrade their house. They don't pay off their mortgage. It's a game. The system would be exactly the same. Whoever could print them, we would put together. They would be limited at first, and then at some point we would put a paper currency together to replace the hard metal one, because the hard metal one is too hard to carry around, and you can't really trade 100,000 of them, and it's hard to count out that many on the stock market. And the stock market would demand 200, but you don't actually have to give them the 200. You have to give them a certificate that says they're 200. Have you ever watched?
Rich guys just started by having lots of bottle caps.
Yeah.
It's all literally the same.
It's all exactly the same. It wouldn't be any different. It would go exactly like the gold did for us in America. There was a gold standard. Then the rich people needed more money, more zeros. So they hated passing these notes back and forth. So they passed the easier notes, and they went away from the gold standard. We went to the after the gold standard, what do we have? But then we had the fiat, right? And then it's just nonsense. It would go exactly the same way. You would get to a point where you would have a single sheet of paper that says this is worth 100 bottle caps. And we would be right back where we are. It's what we will always do with money, because it's difficult and annoying to carry around 100 gold coins.
You want to go back to the gold back? Or silver?
I don't know if that's even possible or of any value. I don't trust any economist. I've read economists that say that that's a good idea, and I've read economists that say it's a bad idea. None of them can be trusted. No economist can be trusted. That's the last person I would ever listen to about the economy is a fucking economist. Yuck. No, they're all in the market, which means they will tell you whatever they want you to do to make their numbers go up. So they're like a policeman telling you about crime statistics. That's like, nah, man.
A lot of people are living real lives working for fake financial industry. Maybe it's not so fake.
No, I agree with you. And
that's all nonsense too. Those metals have entirely different values via use now, and they were always just somewhat rare metal.
No, I'm agreeing with you. Lots of people have work doing fake shit. And that's fine. But you have to worry about the bubbles popping. If there's a bunch of people working for this imaginary thing based on vibes, what if everybody gets the vibes that it's the what happened in 2008? His vibes wrecked the 2008. It caused the 2008
videos aren't real.
Bubble.
All logic.
everybody felt a certain way about these mortgage, what was the type of mortgage? It was a certain kind of mortgage back in 2008. It was a backed mortgage, something backed mortgage.
It's mostly based on compounded interest rates. Those are real, not vibes.
That's a math equation that we made up. Well, the compounded interest is a tool we invented.
The stock market is more speculative. The bond market is safe.
I would agree the bond market is a little bit more realistic than the stock market. Who made the rates? Who decided that compound interest works at this percentage? Could it work at a higher percentage? Good. Could it work at a lower percentage? It could. Do we in fact change that percentage all the damn time?
Way.
Math works that way. Economy is not math.
The universe decided.
The economy is not math. Dog, the economy is soft science, not a hard science.
No.
The economy is how people feel about the speculation, about what's happening tomorrow, about that speculation, about that percentage. If the people think that percentage is too high, the
economy is not universal math XD.
I know, and even universal math is not universal. It's just a system that we set up.
When you grow at 2% each year, you get compounded growth. That's just math. Exactly.
Agree that's math, dog, but what if you don't? What if we set it to 4? What if I burn your house down? Again, these aren't things that are guaranteed. This is just us using the math to make more money.
If you set it to 4, you will grow at 4%.
Amazing. So I can set it wherever the damn hell I want to. So who sets that? The Fed. They do that. And so that's the issue. That's why Donnie is so mad at them. That's why Donald Trump is so mad at them. When they set it too low, people will borrow money, invest it in the stock market.
Unless they change the law,
make
and
a percentage,
it's a different percent
and then pay it back, cause increasing, doing nothing. The problem I have with this, with most of these people who are buying debt and shit like that and paying it back and from gambling from the stock market, is they're not making anything. The CEO who borrows a bunch of money, plays the stock market, cashes out, pays back the debt.
In the USA, the Fed sets overnight lending rate.
Didn't make anything. They're a parasite. The investors are parasites. They're not creating things. They're not making stuff. They're making the number go up, but they're not making any more stuff. They're not making any more widgets. They're not making any more corn. They're not making any more equipment. They're just speculating and making the numbers go up. They're funding the stuff? No, they're not. They're stealing everything they can. They are cutting to the bone workers' wages and forcing them to work longer for less money to make that number go up. They're stealing. They are the takers.
Yeah, they are funding it. The reason companies go public is to get cash to expand.
And the reason that the investors do that is so that they can get more back. At some point, you can't get more back. And the whole thing collapses, but they just bounce off to the next one. Then they just bounce off to the next one while they've ruined a company. A company that was doing okay and staying steady. They had a solid, ruined. Yes, ruined. Fucking...
yes. Getting funding, a fundamental function of universal math. Let's look at Microsoft. How is it ruined?
How is it ruined? It's not. It's a monopoly. It isn't ruined. But it is putting out a piss poor product every year. The longer Microsoft goes on, the worse their products are. Do you deny that? God, Windows 11 is dog shit compared to the old Windows XP. And I don't have a choice.
What do you mean by ruined?
I mean, their products are dog shit. I have an ad.
Ruined financially?
Ruined financially. Well, eventually they will be. Someday.
Oh, I see.
It depends on what we mean by ruined. Sometimes they're ruined financially. Sometimes an angel investor comes in, like old Mitt Romney did to Toys R Us. Remember what Mitt Romney did to Toys R Us? He came in.
We are on different wavelengths.
Well, the chat is also a little bit slower than I talk, so it's okay. You're doing good. I like you.
Capitalism.
I do hate capitalism. I think we need to move beyond it. It has served its purpose. We are at the end of capitalism. If we continue on that, if we continue on the capitalist trend, it will only get worse. There will be more predatory lenders. There will be more rug pulls. There will be more crypto coins that just aren't anything. They're literally nothing. There will be more scams. There will be more grift. There will be more greed. There will be more politicians.
I sell stock options for a living in the fake stock market.
Okay. And that will suspend you for now.
They fail their entire business and then get bailed out with tax dollars so they can continue to fail. I feel I am good at it.
That's fine. You can be good at that. I'm not saying you're not. But it is based on speculation. It is based on imagination. It is based on how people feel about those stocks.
Does it relate to Microsoft?
Who's they? I don't know. Sometimes. So Microsoft is pressured to put out a cheaper, more ad-filled product than they used to because the number has to go up. It has to go up. The investors demand that the number goes up. And that means you cram in one more ad. That means you cram in one more little app to tell me what's going on. There is, let's see, on my Windows right now, there is a little weather app down there telling me the thing.
Are you worried about Microsoft customers or shareholders?
I don't customers or shareholders. It depends on what the question is. I mouse over the thing that's telling me the temperature right now, and I get MSN telling me about Trump's leg buckles twice. I get McDonald's. I get Reuters. I get Windows 11. I get the weather over there on the side. I get the stock market numbers. It seems the S&P is down 1%, 1.6. I get the Dow numbers. I get the NASDAQ. I get gold. I get U.S. oil WTI. I get Canada announces bill banning social media for anyone. That's all it says. I get a Fox News alert. That's just me moving my mouse.
If you don't like MSFT product, get something else.
I'm not saying that. I'm telling you.
Let me ask again.
And shitification is what they're doing. I want the people. I care about the people.
Are you worried about Microsoft customers or shareholders?
I'm worried about the people. I'm worried about the country. I'm interested in human beings having freedom.
I think this dude is a chatbot, like, actually. Can I keep pushing?
You can if you'd like.
Or you get upset?
No, I love arguing with people. It's great. That's what I do here. I am going to get off soon because it's been 2 hours since I started. But swing by another time. We can discuss it. I'm going to go about another 15 minutes, and then I'm going to log off for the night. So, yes.
So, who do you worry about, MSFT shareholders, customers, or workers?
I worry about the American people.
Those are the three parts of MSFT.
I worry about what do I worry about? I don't know what you're getting at.
I am talking about MSFT.
Microsoft, great. Microsoft is a company that needs to produce a product for its customers. That's important. That's what I want them to do. I want them to come together, build something, and sell it and make a profit. I'm okay with that. Now, do I give an absolute shit about the shareholders? No, they're
yes.
Parasites.
MSFT is a cash cow.
They're parasites. They could be offering
making billions.
All of their stuff, right? And they could be offering all of that to their customers at a lower price. They could skip all the ads, but they have to feed this ever-growing shareholders. They have to feed the always hungry shareholders. The shareholders are starving to death and they demand more. They demand more. They demand more. They demand more. They are never satiated. The shareholders are unsatiatable parasites. They want more, they need more, and they're going to demand more. And Microsoft, in their
MSFT as a corp in USA, has a legal responsibility to maximize shareholder value.
And what is a law?
True?
That law is horseshit, and that's a bad law, dog. Bad law. Fuck that law. Repeal that law. I would vote for anybody who tells me that they're going to repeal that fucking law.
The law is wrong. You are right.
Right. Yes, sometimes laws are wrong.
But the law does stand, agreed?
It does stand at the moment, and I don't like it. And I would like it to be changed. That is what politics is.
Thanks, bro.
People telling politicians what laws they want passed and what laws they want repealed. That's a part of politics. That's what I'm here to do, talk politics.
So, MSFT is following the law?
Yes. And the what are they called? investors. And
Good.
the investors,
Almost like I am winning.
and the investors
good.
get more money. And then they use that to buy senators that won't get rid of that law, no matter how much I demand it, no matter how much the people need it, no matter how much harm that law causes. Chuck Schumer is paid by those investors not to change that law. We are all suffering for it. That is the problem with capitalism. It floats to the top. The rich investors produce nothing but get all the money. The investors are parasites.
You
They
feel
are
corp
stealing
should
from
have
the people.
morals outside of profit?
Morals is for people. Corporations should do what it does to make money. That's fine. I want most investors to fuck off. I want most investors to go get a real job. I want most investors to, because I'm a socialist, I'll give them some bootstraps. But if I were a capitalist, I'd lease them bootstraps at 12% IPR or something like that. But I'm not a filthy capitalist.
Core should be regulated.
Corporations should be regulated by the government. There are only two powers. There are only two
Corp
powers.
need investor money to get going. That's just life.
No, they don't. They could have government money. Or they could save up, or they could get a loan from a bank. Fine. Two powers in America. That's all there is. Corporate power and government power. I take that back. Capitalist power and government power. That's all there is. There's only two options. If I want to move this couch, there's a couch right here. How do I do it? Either I get my friends to come over and help me, or
Under
I pay
socialism,
somebody.
yes. USA now owns a percentage of Intel. This is a fact.
That's fucking socialism. And Donald Trump did it. It's a bad idea. I don't want the country to
So
own
USA
those
bought
things.
INTC shares on the stock market.
Right, and that's a bad thing. I don't want that to happen. I want these two things to be separate, but they have merged. Every single person in the government owns stock, and every single person in the stock market pays a politician, and now the government is directly buying this shit. They need to be two separate elements, not merged the way they are. The government should be separate from the market, and the market should be separate from the government.
They're already
taken
regulated.
Fuck off with that shit. They're regulated. Get out of here, you fucking joker. No, they're not. You know they're not. The SEC is a fucking joke. They get gutted all the time. The SEC is not even scary.
Ha 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 ha.
You know that the SEC is a fucking joke. Anybody who works at the SEC, anybody intelligent enough to work at the SEC,
Environment regulations.
knows how to get around the system. Anybody who's willing to learn all this shit knows that you can just go out there and do whatever the damn hell you want. No, it's not a big problem. That's
Shift
supposed to be.
goalpost and still unregulated.
So they're unregulated. Exactly. They are unregulated. The SEC is supposed to regulate them, and they don't, because anybody smart enough to run the SEC is smart enough to recognize that it's unregulated and they make more money
Environment
just doing the crime.
regulations are real.
Environment regulations are half-assed.
For power
a joke.
producers.
Half a joke. Most of the time, the
Like
Republicans
hell they
lie
are.
about there. They're not, they're not regulated properly. No, that's a joke too. The environmental is so much smaller than it could be. The EPA, even especially under Republicans, gets gutted, and they turn their back and they turn a blind eye to all of the regulations that were
Drug
passed.
safety is regulated as well.
Barely.
Imagine
Again,
otherwise.
nonsense. Dog, no. The drug safety is why do I see commercials all day long? If I turn that television on to a
Food
TV channel,
safety
you know what
is
I'm going to
regulated.
get? You know what I'm going to
This
get?
dude is a close.
I know, right? Yeah, clown. Do you know what I'm going to get? I'm going to get, hey, have you taken fen-phen? If you've taken this drug, call the
No.
Bliggly-Bluggity Law Group, and we'll get you
No
a settlement. Have you taken this drug? Have you taken what was that other drug that went bad? Every other commercial is selling. Every commercial is selling me a drug. Every other commercial is a lawyer suing that drug maker for the failure. And that they pushed it through the FDA too fast, and now it's causing cancer, causing damage. Nothing is regulated. There is no regulation in this country. Anybody who's saying it's overregulated is a liar, trying to scam you. One drug to fix what the other drug does. The economy is a scam. I know it is. There are only more scams every day. More scams, more scams, more scams, more scams.
How is drug and food safety in USA compared to, let's say, China?
I'm not talking about China, dog. I'm talking about the USA. Nice goalpost move again. But it's worse than China. I don't give a shit. That's not what we're talking about. I'm doing the framing here.
I'm asking for a comparison.
I'm not. I don't give a shit. I'm telling you that capitalism has run its course. We are at the end of it. There will be more scams. There will be more grift. There will be more theft. There will be more presidents running just to steal. There will be more politicians who are in bed with big business and passing laws to make that business more profitable because they own that stock in that business. That is only going to increase the longer we let it. The government and the market need to be separated forcefully now. They need to be torn apart.
Doubt this is true.
You doubt that's true? No, that's exactly what's going to happen. Dog, it's what's going to happen next year. It's going to happen the year after that unless we fix it. Until we fix it, it will only get worse. And I would ask you a question then. Is there more grift today than there was 20 years ago? Are there more scams? Are there more Bitcoins that don't do anything? Are there more meme coins? Are there more things for the average consumer to get scammed on? I get 12 phone calls a day, and they're all trying to steal my money. Scammers trying to steal my identity. Bill collectors trying to collect money. Salesmen trying to take my money. Or a politician trying to take my money. It's all scams. It's all grift now.
I am not trying to take her money.
You are. You would if you could. You're trying to get me on the market. You're trying to convince me to go into your personal brand of religion, which is the market. And I don't like it.
I am not trying anything.
I know. I'm giving you shit. I know. I'm fucking with you. The economy.
Just chatting.
I know. The economy is a religion. It is. It even has an invisible hand. Dog. The economy has an invisible hand. It has a hand of God because it's a religion. It has different sects. You have your Keynesians. You have your, what are those other ones called? I forget what the other ones are called, but you have Keynesians. They're a specific sect within this religion.
I pray to the huge bull statue on Wall Street.
It has a fucking statue that people go to. There's its Mecca. It has its Mecca in the New York Stock Exchange. It has beliefs. It has a structure. It has things that you're not allowed to say. You're not allowed to say that the whole thing is based on vibes. You're not allowed to point out the fact that it's all based on that stuff.
But it's for different reasons.
Exactly. So you're not allowed to say those
Oh,
things.
dear bull, keep running.
Yeah, exactly. Until it doesn't. Until it crashes and falls the fuck out. If it's well maintained, the bull could go very slowly upward for a very long time. But that doesn't get people the maximum amount of money. Up and down, boom and bust, makes the wealthy wealthier. They love that shit. People who are really wealthy right now are building their doomsday bunkers and buying what they can so that when the shit collapses and crashes, they can buy up everything they can for pennies on the dollar. And then when society finally builds its way back up, they'll own even more. It's all a grift. And until we separate the government from the economy, we will continue on this trend. We will have more grifters. We will have congressmen
Sounds like a
paid
plan.
by companies.
When do we buy?
When do we buy? Yeah, I know. Well, you're not in on the list, boss. Mark Zuckerberg is going to buy everything he can he's going to sell everything 1 minute before the stock market crashes because he's very fucking wealthy.
Yeah, I am not on the list.
You're not on the list. They're going to sell 5 minutes before you do. And then you, because you're in on the thing, are going to sell 1 minute before a bunch of other people. And that's fine. Then the whole thing's going to fucking fall out. There's going to be another gigantic crash. And then the people with the money will buy up everything they can, all the assets they can for pennies on the dollar because everybody else went out of business. And then they'll own more when everything builds back up. Buy the dip. It's grift. And I don't like it because they're not building anything. They're not making anything.
This is fine, bro.
It's not fine. It's causing regular people
We know
to
market
suffer.
crashes.
Yeah, I know. And you know how to survive them. But then the thousands of people who are going to starve to death, I care for them.
And comes back up.
Right. And then the people suffer. I don't like that. I would rather us not have people starving because of the rich people had their imaginary feelings hurt, you know? What did Malachi say? Hey, Malachi, thanks for coming in. Microsoft killed so many tech companies that would otherwise be their rivals in the market. Fuck them, they should be broken up in legal trust.
What happened the last time the market crashed? And the time before that too?
People had their 401ks raided. That's what's going to happen on the next one. That's what's going to happen. All that money I have in my stupid ass 401k is just going to disappear because some fuck is going to steal it. And then if
many people went bankrupt,
yeah.
The ones who were over leverages got really fucked.
Right, and that's a problem. Then the government, George W. Bush, tried to put our Social Security.
It's a problem.
George W. Bush tried to put our Social Security on the market because.
So don't play the fucking market.
Well, great. Social Security is not a choice.
Anyone.
Nobody's forcing anyone. Social Security, according to Republicans, ought to be on the market. That means all of that money in 2008, had George W. Bush gotten what he wanted in 2004, he wanted to put all the Social Security money on the market. 2008 would have happened. It would have crashed.
Arguments all around, I swear.
Then we would not have any money for Social Security. Then those retired people wouldn't get any money.
I don't know who Zella is. Sorry.
No, that's okay. If George W. Bush had gotten what he wanted, he'd have put all the Social Security on there, and then we wouldn't have a choice. I don't get to not play the market when my 401k is there. I don't get to not play the market if my Social Security is attached to it. I don't get to not play the market if all my goddamn stores are closed because they can't make a profit anymore. I don't get to not play the market if everybody calls in my fucking debts because they're fucking going out of business.
You can tell your 401 to go into bond fund.
I don't know what that means, and I don't have time to figure it out. I don't think 401ks should be a thing. I don't want to use it, but I fucking have to. Pensions should be working. Pensions should be the way we go, but we don't fucking do that anymore.
Why deny reality?
I'm not denying reality. I'm telling you that I don't like 401ks because they're imaginary. It's imaginary money sitting in a place that someone's going to steal from me if it benefits them. Right now, it doesn't benefit
You
them.
live in this world, not the one you want in your head.
I live in the world that's made by a capitalist imagination. Yes, capitalists' imaginations have more power than mine. I agree with that. I'm not telling you that they don't fucking exist. All right, what I'm telling you is that some fuck is going to steal it from me when the shit turns down. When the shit goes down, when it crashes, they're going to steal it from me. And I won't know how to stop them. I won't be able to prevent it. And then they'll tell me it's the fucking market because it's a fucking scam. They're forcing us to put all of our retirement money on the market. They want to put all of our Social Security on the market. They want to put everything in the world on the market so that when it turns down, they can profit and I can fucking suck it. That's the plan. The wealthy want to get wealthier, and they want to steal everything they can from me, from anyone that's beneath them. That is the way capitalism will always work. It's the way it will inevitably end up, even if we crash and then rebuild.
Sometimes you have to choose the least bad of the choices given.
I agree. And capitalism was the worst system except for all the others. It's a famous fucking Churchill quote, and I respect it. I accept that. It has run its course. We had tribalism, and that wasn't fucking working anymore. So we moved on to city-states over in Europe. Feudalism. And feudalism wasn't working anymore. And so we moved on to mercantilism. Mercantilism wasn't working anymore,
Sometimes
and we moved on to capitalism.
And sometimes you have to realize that the choices are unacceptable.
And now capitalism is at the same point that feudalism was. At some point, some fucking peasant like me was talking to a slightly lesser noble like you.
And do what? Walk off into the desert?
And the peasant said, hey, I don't like this whole fucking feudalism thing. I don't think we need a king anymore. And the minor noble, like you, I'm calling you the noble here, said,
fix it.
You have to have fucking feudalism. There's no possible other solution. And then we found one. The humans invent these systems. The humans invented the capitalist system. The humans set the percentage rate. The humans set the law that says Microsoft has to do the
The
thing.
system is set in its way.
You're out of your mind. Now you're wrong.
We made guns to shoot nobles off their horses.
And the system, you can't change the system. The system is set, the boss. That's what the fucking king of Spain said. That's what the king of fucking Latveria fucking said before they chopped him off, before they killed him. That's what the king of France said before they fucking had a damn revolution. You can't change the system. No, you're not the king, but you're working for him. You're a noble, you're a lesser lord to the king, telling me that nothing can unseat the king.
This is my own opinion as a Californian.
That's fine. We can change the systems. We invented the systems. Humans invented capitalism. They can change it. They can move on from it.
Bro loves being a serf.
The serfs eventually stopped enjoying the serfs. Well, I hope you enjoy it. I want you to have a better life. I want better for you.
He has to be trolling now. I am not bragging.
I want more freedom for you. Not less. I want more. ... I want you to have more freedom. And I want you to abandon this terrible capitalist hellscape. I want you to escape the terrible capitalist hellscape
we
that
know
has
you're
you.
not bragging, homie. You're cut.
All right. That was more than 15 minutes. All right. Katana Raja, I am all dumb. I am all done. I'm finished for the night. I am finished for the night. I should have finished 30 minutes ago. I have shit to do tomorrow. I have a job. So I will be back on Saturday, 10 a.m. West Coast time. If you'd like to come by and talk some more, go on over to the Discord if you'd like. And there's only one rule on the Discord: don't annoy me. If you're having actual conversation and I don't think you're a robot, you're allowed to be there and you can post whatever you want.
Have a good one. Nice chat.
Thanks for coming. I appreciate it. And anybody else?
Need a fresh Zella. Get in there, Gatan.
Zella is an old person who used to post in there, just very bad MAGA guy. Nonsense, insanity, bad faith arguments. He was MAGA all the way. And it's sometimes annoying.
I have no idea. I hate Donald Trump.
And that's fine. That you can go in there and hate Donald Trump, or you can stay in there and love him. It doesn't matter. But he loved him.
But I like free markets.
And I can appreciate that. But I think that it's run its course. But I've said all these things before. That's it for me tonight. I appreciate everybody who's here. Thank you for coming. Thanks for coming, God Raja. Okay. Thanks for coming to any of it. Thanks for being here, Malachi. Thanks everybody who's watching. I'll be back on Saturday unless the Gestapo kicks in my door and drags me out to a gulag.